Hi and welcome to another Steve's Amateur Garage. Great to have you along. Today we're going to be working finally on my daily driver, the MGTF, which has been doing sterling work for the last few months while the camper van has been taking up the space in the garage, and we've done this sort of bodywork restoration on that. There'll be a video coming on the camper van very soon, but today we're on the MG and we're going to tackle the rear bearings, which have been crying out for some attention for the last couple of months. Let's get started. So here's a little tip. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. When I'm taking off the hub nut here, obviously you've got to knock back the little staked bit there to straighten it out, so otherwise it's not going to undo. But then I like to take the wheel off, take the center cap out of the wheel, and that way we can get our 32mm long socket through the wheel when the wheel's back on and get good purchase on that hub nut with the car sitting on the ground, so you've got a good bit of leverage on it because it's going to be on tight. So first step in removing the rear bearing, we've effectively loosened off the drive shaft nut, so that will come off nice and easy. We've taken the caliper off, taken the disc off, came off easy because they're relatively new, and what we have to do is disconnect all the bolts from the trailing arm, probably the drop link as well, just to get it out of the way. The top arm ball joint has to be split, so there's a few nuts to get done, a few tapers to be split. They probably won't want to come undone, but we'll give it a go. So we're going to get the wire brush out, clean those nuts off, and give ourselves a good chance of getting them free. So here we have most of the bolts undone on the hub. The ones that are left are just loosely in place, and I'm just about to split the top ball joint. There she goes. Here's the hub off, ready to be cleaned up, and there is far too much play in that. It sounds terrible. So I'm hoping it's just this one that's causing the issue. Next step, once the hub is cleaned up, we've got it supported on a couple of firm pieces of wood. On the bench, we're going to socket just on the flange there and start bashing it through. So there's the flange on the bench with the inner race still attached to it. We'll get that off later. And the next step is to remove what is effectively the metal ring that is holding the bearing in both on this side and on the opposite side. And you can just about see the edge of it there. And that's been in for 20 years, so that's well and truly fused itself in there. I like to get a pointed screwdriver just right under the edge there, give it a few taps and see if you can lift it out a little bit, and then you can start working your way around. But I may be some time on this one. And there you can see I've just lifted the edge of that little ring, and now I should be able to just lever it all the way around and flick it out the way. And the next step is to use our bearing removing kit. £30 worth, best £30 you're ever going to spend, and if you find the correct size plate, just fits inside the recess there, sits right on the edge of the bearing, together with the right size cup to go the other side. Big plate on the end of that, big thread through the middle, and it should just pull the bearing straight into the cup. So if we have the cup lined up, all we need is a bit of extra force and we should be able to get this to pull itself through. Like that. And there's the bearing. So now with the reverse process, we've fitted the inner ring. The bearing is placed in and starting to go in, and the plate and the bolt right the way through it. I like to do this bit by hand because I feel you can get a better feel of when it stops rather than using the power tools. So we'll just carefully, nice and steadily wind it in. It's got a tiny bit of grease just to smear around the outside just to help it on its way. It's going in nicely and it should tighten up, and you should be able to feel it hit the ring at the back, and that's when you know it's in the right place. Just starting to tighten up now. It's getting there. And that's it, that's up against it. Great. Now we fit the outer ring, and then we've got to remove the other half of the bearing from the flange. As usual, one of the hardest bits of this job for the amateur is getting the inner race off the flange. In the end, I did my favourite trick of grinding it with the Dremel, put a groove in it without going really all the way through, and then when it's fairly thin, get the chisel on it, break it, and it will wiggle itself off. Cleaned up the flange and it's ready to go back on to the hub. There's the flange back on, and it should be a simple reverse process to put it all back together. Just driven back a couple of miles from the garage, and the car is so much quieter, rolls better, brakes better, so all good. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell because you've got plenty more videos coming soon on the MGs, the Ferrari, the VW campervan and the E-Types. You all take care. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.